Greetings, friends, and welcome to our Day 4 liturgy. I've pre-recorded our liturgy today, so I'm not with you in time for those of you who are joining right at 7. I'm traveling home right now from Michigan, where I've led the first Be Love retreat of 2026. Our theme of retreats this year, Kindling Our Light, which is so much of what this creation series is about. This emergence of light and how we make room for this light to live in our being, in our communities, and in our world. A lovely synchronicity, my son Theo came home from school on Wednesday with this painting of a candle that he had done in art class, and he presented it to me. So this kindling of the light is happening, and I hope it's happening in you. I hope you're feeling it happening in you, either through this creation series that we're journeying together with, or perhaps other unexpected places like a child bringing home an art project. And here on day 4, this journey of kindling the light picks up some speed. It takes some form. And this is a significant threshold on our journey. If you saw my video recorded last week, I invited us to really think about day 3 as the midpoint. And this movement from day 3 to day 4 is no small thing. No small thing. As I mentioned during day 3, Emanuel Swedenborg said during his time that most humans only ever get to day 3. So to even be able to make our way into day 4 and to discuss its implications and to make room for it is really an important shift in our spiritual evolution and our ability to receive and be a part of this new church that is coming into being in the world. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope that this resonates with you, and I hope you'll come along the journey even more over this month with all of our various creation offerings. But for now, let's get grounded in this invitation of day 4, and I will begin by reading our scripture passage from Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 19. And God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky, to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark seasons and days and years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the sky to give light on the earth." And it was so. God made 2 great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the expanse of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the 4th day. So let's do a little recap of where we have been that has helped us to arrive here today on day 4. Of course, this whole journey began with the emergence of light, the emergence of life and presence on this earth, and the emergence of this sense that there is something more, something calling us forward, a spiritual, eternal dimension to this material existence that we share. Then on day 2, we saw the emergence of the recognition that along this journey of light, there is an inner self and an outer self. That while what we mostly perceive with our physical eyes is our material body, our mortality, our limitations on the earth, that there's also this inner life that we begin to sense is eternal, is connected to that which we call God, and that is receiving life, moving from that spiritual inner reality into our external reality. And then Day 3 is that day when our physical bodies, our material lives, our earth begins to become receptive to that inner life, begins to actually be transformed and changed based on the information and life and energy and insight and intuition that we receive from our inner experience. And this is what brings us to day 4. Once our bodies begin to be transformed and receptive to this inner life, it doesn't stop there. This is in many ways when our spiritual journey really begins. And day 4 is very much about the beginning of a journey. Now this light that emerged has a form. It is coming from a direction. It is coming from the sun in the sky, the moon at night, and then also these stars in the distance. We are getting our orientation on day 4. We find where we are in a spiritual sense and in a natural sense, and where it is we feel called to go, to move, how we feel called to understand who we are right now and who we are becoming. On day 4, we know that life is being given to us from God. Just as the sun, as we know, the sun is what gives life to the earth. We would not be here on the earth if the sun were not in the sky. It is what gives life and energy, heat, light to our planet in a very physical, tangible, scientific way. And in that same way, we come to recognize that there is this source of life that we are a part of. Day 4 is very much about having that unitive experience. And I pray and I hope that all of you listening have had such an experience, even if only for a second. It doesn't need to last very long for it to have an impact on you. But you've had that experience of knowing yourself to be a receiver of life, knowing yourself to be connected to all other life on this planet, throughout the universe, that ever was and that ever will be. And that unitive experience gives us this deep sense of belonging, of knowing ourselves to belong, of knowing ourselves to be love, to be this energy of life. One of the great metaphors of the unitive experience is knowing ourselves to be not just a drop of water in the ocean, but the whole ocean in a drop of water. And that is what is ultimately true about each one of us, all of us. Our material eyes tell us that we're better and that we're worse, that there are saints and there are sinners, that we are constantly in competition and working to earn our right to be here. But that ego knowing is not the truth. It's just what we perceive with our material eyes. And on day 4, we come to know the deeper truth, the real truth of our oneness and our unity. And we can stumble into that truth just in a moment of peace in the forest or a moment of connection with another person. It's actually the most obvious truth there is, that we're all connected and we're all one. And so anytime we can sort of see beyond the ego illusions of our separation and have that unitive experience, it is like the emergence of the sun in the sky. It is like the emergence of the great light, this present light, this powerful light, way bigger and more powerful than our earth and our being, that is giving us life, and that we are all receivers of it. So on day 4, we have had a glimpse, we've had a taste of that unitive experience, which gives us an incredible shift. It makes an incredible shift happen, where we now know ourselves to be love, to be connected to the divine, to be receivers of life. And that knowing really, in many ways, turns off some of our ego motivations to compete or to earn or to feel unworthy, because none of that really stands up. It doesn't actually carry much weight anymore compared to that unitive knowing. I would suggest that Emanuel Swedenborg certainly had that unitive knowing, in his experience of receiving the call to interpret the scriptures and to enter these deep meditative states, to connect with heaven and with hell. He had to have that unitive knowing to feel worthy of this great call that was placed on his heart, and to be brave enough to step forward in this very new way of interacting and engaging with life. Because once we get this knowing, there's a call to do something with it. And this is where the stars and the moon play a role. On one level, you might, and I think this has happened likely to humans over the course of history, you have this unitive experience, and some would just like to stay there, right? We would just like to stay in that unity. And there is a sense when we are having that unitive experience that nothing is needed, that we don't need to prove ourselves anymore. We don't need to earn our belonging. So we can just be. And maybe nothing really has to happen. And it doesn't have to happen in the same way that our egos tell us things need to happen. But there is an invitation for us to live fully now from a place of abundance and fullness. And we're still human. We're still human. And this unitive experience that remains a touchstone and it remains kind of our anchor of what is most real, it fluctuates. And I love how in the scriptures we talk about the signs of seasons. It fluctuates, and it fluctuates between day and night. So a big part of day 4 is having this knowing of ourselves as being receivers of life, and then fluctuating in and out of that full knowing, entering periods of darkness where we return into our physical experience and feel the limitations and the challenges of that experience. And often we have, just a little bit of that unitive knowing that then guides us in the depths of night. For me, the guide that has become that light of the moon when I am stepping through periods of darkness is this motto that I carry of be love, be honest, be useful. And often we need something to hold us in those nighttime experiences, which will come. So day 4 provides us not only that deep knowing, but then a way to carry that knowing back into the world and into our experiences of fluctuating seasons of day and night. I wonder what you carry when those dark nights come. What gives you some faith, some bit to hold on to navigate your way through the darkness. We have the light of the moon, but then of course also even the light of the moon wanes. We have those nights of the new moon, or just the little sliver. And it's on those nights when the stars appear the brightest. And these stars, as I understand them, they really are that which calls us forward, that which orients us in this invitation to move, to build, to carve out new space in the world, to bring this transformation, this truth of our unity into the living experience of life on this planet. This is really the work of the Holy City. We are not here on this earth just to remember our divinity and then just be present to our divinity and not do the work of changing and bringing transformation into the world. We are here to bring that sacredness, bring that heaven here into the earth. And that means walking through the dark nights. That means not staying up on our mountaintop of unity, but doing the hard, challenging daily work of bringing it into the world. For Emanuel Swedenborg, that work was these years spent in deep meditation and writing and sharing a revelation that would be a gift to the world. For each of us, likely, that work will be different. For myself, I feel a deep call to bring this experience of our holiness, of our sacredness, of our reality as receivers of life into community that can grow and live into these values of love, truth, and usefulness, these universal values that potentially have the ability to bring us together beyond our diverse identities and external differences. I have a strong sense that when I am being loving and when I am being honest, I am able to be useful in a way that is resonant with this vision of the Holy City, is resonant with this heaven coming to earth that I know I long for, and perhaps you do as well. And the star I'm following along this journey, the star that I hold, in many ways, it's the Holy City. And for me in particular, I feel this call towards crafting a new space in the world to engage this vision of the new church and to make room for its reception through the manifestation of these values. A place where we're really asking questions about what it means to be church, what it means to worship, what it means to live a life that is aligned with the values of the Holy City. To really stir it up and question the way we've done it before, to wonder about what has been good, what has been useful, what has been a blessing to us, what has brought us to here, and then from our lives right now, how do we want to embody these values, this life? What practices, what teachings, what words, what ways of being together really bring us alive? My sense is we're only getting started in the work of being the new church, and that all of the various manifestations of the new church thus far, whether they be our various denominations or publishing houses or communities, they are all beautiful and they all have much to offer. And that it's possible something new, a whole new branch or a whole new way of being the new church may be ready, ripe to come into being. I see a network of people tied together through the incredible means of the virtual worlds that we have now made possible. A global network of people who are devoted to this invitation of the Holy City's presence in the world, devoted to the manifestation of heaven and earth, devoted to living by these truths that we are love, we are called to be devoted to the truth beyond everything else, and that in this devotion to the truth from a place of love, we are called to be useful with one another. I see this virtual network being a place of support and nurturance where we can grow. We can be going along this creation journey together, where we honor all the different parts of the journey that we are in. And through support and care for one another, connecting through these virtual means, we then go off to live beautiful lives, creating new manifestations of life in the physical world as well. So I've been following this star for quite a while now. And there are dark nights. There are challenging nights where that knowing of myself to be a receiver of life, that knowing myself that all the good I do is coming from God, sometimes wanes. And yet it's interesting because it's in the dark night when we really can start to see the star. And in many ways, there is a lot of darkness in our larger world and still inside our own psyches and bodies. We have been so conditioned by this material existence, by these stories of unworthiness and supremacy and domination and subjugation. I mean, just there's so much to weed out. And so I have no doubt that on those dark nights, what's actually being made possible is more and more clarity about this star that I'm following, of this new life that is here now inside of me, and that I want to make even more manifest in the world through the efforts of a larger community that might grow and thrive and be a receptacle of the new church, be a place to nurture new church life in its variety. I wonder what the star is for you. I wonder what the light of the moon is for you that comforts you in the darkness. And I wonder what your experiences of the sun, the unity, the love of God have been, and whether or not you have the ability to tap into that knowing and live from that knowing more and more. We are just beginning our day 4 journey, friends. I invite you to join our various workshops this month to connect with where day 4 is playing out for you in your life, how you are softening and coming to feel and know the presence of God in your life, how you are making your way through this darkness, and what stars you might be following that might be leading you forward along the way. I'm grateful to be on this journey with all of our fellow humans at this particular moment in time. And I'm grateful for the source of life, our creator, redeemer, regenerator, who has been with us on the journey all these many millennia and is with us still. Many blessings, friends.